Same thing with this upcoming movie here, Somewhere in Queens. I don't want to say directorial debut. I don't want to. I guess I have to say it. Directorial debut for one
Okay.
Ray Romano coming in with a movie that he's also starring in with Laurie Metcalf. Laurie Metcalf's gonna be at the Steppenwolf, and I told Alina, "Hey, get the calendar ready. Laurie's gonna be here."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Is she one to watch for?" I'm like, "Bro, Miss Ladybird, Miss Scream 2, she watches this movie." This girl was checking the dates to see when we could book it. I'm like, yes, it's Laurie Metcalf. She will steal any show. She steals this movie, man.
I know we're not supposed to compliment Louis C.K. projects anymore, but she has a monologue in Horace and Pete, that's like one of the most devastating things I've ever heard.
What's that? Is it a show?
Yeah. It's the show that he like self-produced at one point.
Interesting. I saw he's got
prior
a special.
To cancellation. Just for what it's worth, prior to cancellation.
What cancellation, dude? He's got his fourth special out. I haven't heard it yet, but clearly that thing sold out and he's got streaming rights. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in Queens, though, is a rated R comedy, which I've been so delighted to see this year. I've heard a lot of people complaining about, these rated R rom-coms has been a big talk. Rated R comedies, what's with all that? Man, I am so happy. I know people are complaining about the upcoming Jennifer Lawrence one because they think it's too raunchy. Y'all ask for more sex in movies, all these different things. They're finally giving it to you, and you complain until it's here, and then you pretend people didn't complain. This is a nice, lighthearted movie. It feels like it's got that PG-13 energy, but isn't afraid to get into the art territory because of where it goes. You have, I wouldn't really call it a dysfunctional family, but a family that's kind of bored. They've got a son who's trying to make it into the playoffs, but into college off of a scholarship. And Ray Romano's kind of worried because he also has this girlfriend who may not be willing to stay with him the whole time. And he feels, man, I got to kind of convince her, maybe even pay her to stay so that he can get this scholarship. And let's just say Laurie Metcalf isn't going with that. I thought it was hilarious. I thought this was a good movie that is worth going out to theaters. We had the privilege to see it at home because we got screening links for it. As a rent-it, I would highly give this a thumbs up. I thought Ray Romano did a good job with his direction, and just he owns this character. That look that he gives for the 90 minutes of this movie, I just feel like that's his energy when you meet him, and I just can't imagine him switching that off to action cut. I don't know, that made me laugh more than the sequences in the film, but overall, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, like, he's got a lot of experience playing like an Italian-American family man. In some ways, this movie feels like a big screen version of Everybody Loves Raymond. Like, it's not too far from that character. It's interesting, too, because we've been, as people who watch a lot of movies, it's been really interesting to see the places that Ray Romano has popped up in the past few years. He did that Duplass movie, the Paddleton. He was a supporting role in Bad Education. He's in The Irishman.
Oh, he was great in Bad Education.
Yeah, and has a really fantastic turn in The Big Sick that a lot of people were hoping he'd even get an Oscar nomination for. So he's a guy who, despite his history as a stand-up comedian, as leading a sitcom, he's kind of put on some more dramatic clothing from time to time. And I guess maybe I was like, I don't know. I was interested to see, now that he's assuming the role of a director, how heavily he would lean towards the dramatic versus how heavily he would lean towards the comedic. He kind of like splits the difference in this one. Like, it's a solid dramedy with some good jokes, not necessarily like the most hilarious thing you'll see this year, but solidly funny. And it's in his bag, right? I think, like you said, he's so perfect at playing that sort of beleaguered guy. Like, when he goes slack-jawed in disbelief, it's just funny. Like, you don't really need him to say lines at that point. He does it well. So, I think I'm on the same page as you, is that maybe it's not a full like go to the theater type of movie, but as a rental, which, given that it's sort of a smaller release, it probably will be available on VOD very soon if it isn't already. Yeah, I think it's a solid, entertaining time.
Do you remember him
Somewhere in Queens?
I don't know if you finished it. Made for Love?
Oh, I know. I never finished it, but yeah.
Do you remember what his role is in this?
In Made for Love?
Yes.
Yeah, where he's like dating a sex doll or something.
I appreciate where he's willing to go. I'm curious to see
Yeah.
what's next. You know, just the fact that he's willing to be kooky with it. Yeah, I love Ray Romano, and like I said, we have one more to mention later. I think you caught up on this series that's going to be coming to Peacock as well. He just
we're
funniest stuff is
embargoed
still
on
to
that
come.
one technically, just for what it's worth.
You can't say anything?
I don't think so. Not until the 3rd.
All right, I won't say anything. I'll just say that it's coming up later on. Somewhere in Queens, in theaters.
Yeah.
Should be on VOD soon.